guess I turned my back on you. I fell flat on my face but didn't lose. Tell me, where would I go? Tell me what that you want, I'd love to know. Was it the blue night, gone fragile? Was it both men in wonder, steady gone under? Was it the light rain, so frightening? Was it a two-wheels? One mirror holding us dearer now. Your random way swept me along. 'Cause I was so sad, so I got lost. With so many lovers singing soft. Was it the blue night, gone fragile? Was it both men in wonder, steady gone under? Was it the light